Buongiorno ragazzi, welcome to a new Italian 101 video. And yes, this is a new video, but it is not a new topic. Today we are going to review what we learned in the last video about the passato prossimo. So, just as a recapitulation of the most important things we learned last time, passato prossimo is the most used form of the past tense in Italian. It's a form of the verb that lets you know that the action is happening in the past. It is the direct equivalent of the simple past in English, the type of past that we use all the time in English, right? The form of the verb that we use to refer to things that happen in the past. Some examples I give you here: I ran, she studied, he cooked, we ate, right? The verbs there are to run, to study, to cook, to eat, right? But I'm changing the verbs, changing the conjugation to show that the action is happening in the past. So the equivalent of this, the form of the verb that is used to talk about the past in Italian, is passato prossimo, the one we learned last time and that we're going to review today. Now, very, very important. This is a very common mistake, so please pay attention. Passato prossimo has 3 parts. If you give me only 2, you're not giving me the whole verb, okay? You need 3 parts. The first part, of course, is the subject, right? Whoever or whatever is doing the action. We need that for any verb. The second part is the verb avere, right? The one we already know, the one that means to have. And that verb needs to be conjugated. It needs to be changed depending on who is the subject. Okay, so if the subject is io, the form of avere I need is o. If it's tu, I need I. If it's lui or lei, I need a. If it's noi, I need abbiamo, and so on and so forth. You already know this, okay? So that is the second part. And then the third part is the past participle that we learned to make last time, right? So I insist, guys, 3 parts. The conjugation of passato prossimo has 3 parts, 3 elements, okay? Subject, the verb avere conjugated, and then the past participle. So first let's look at avere again. It's right here, right? This is the second part of our 3-part conjugation, right? Again, you need to change the verb according to who does the action, right? As if you were just using the verb avere in a normal sentence with just avere, right? So if the subject is voi, you need to use avete, right? So memorize this if you haven't yet, because it's essential. If you do not use the verb avere, you're not using passato prossimo, or at least, you know, the most common form of passato prossimo. Okay, now to the third part. This is also a review of what we did last time. How do you make the participio passato, the past participle, which is that third part that we need? So we said that it depends on what type of verb it is, right? For are verbs, we get rid of those last 3 letters, then we insert ato. So for amare, for example, the past participle would be amato, right? For ere verbs, I get rid of the ending of the ere and I insert uto. So for avere, it would be avuto. And then for ire, let's say capire. For ire verbs, I get rid of the last 3 letters and I insert ito. So in this case, the past participle of capire would be capito. Okay? This is the way you build the past participle. But just the past participle is not enough for a passato prossimo. You need the auxiliary verb. You need the verb avere. Okay? So let's see some examples. For example, the conjugation of dormire, an ire verb, right? In the passato prossimo. Notice that it has 3 columns. Those are our 3 parts: subject, verb avere, and then participle, right? Same thing with ere verbs. For example, temere, which means to fear. That was not in our standard vocab list, but it's a regular ere verb, right? Notice again, it has 3 parts, right? Subject, verb avere, and participle, right? Same thing for adverbs, parlare, right? Subject, verb avere, past participle. Okay? This is the structure you need to use. So for example, if I want to say I studied, right? In English, I use just 2 words, right? I and studied. In Italian, you need 3. You need the subject, the right form of avere, and the past participle of the verb. So you would go io ho studiato, right? Io is I, ho is the right form of avere for io, and then studiato is the past participle of studiare, right? How did I obtain that past participle? I just followed the rules, right? I got rid of the are and I inserted ato, studiato. Okay? So now, I said that passato prossimo is used to talk about the past, right? So let's do a little exercise in which we're going to compare the present of regular verbs with the passato prossimo of regular verbs. Let's do that by talking about what the Simpson family, what each of the members of the Simpson family and some of their friends are doing in these images. Okay? Now, as you can see, the title of this slide says adesso. Adesso in Italian means right now. What I mean is that I want to say that the things that you see in these images are happening right now. Now, of course, if they're happening right now, I am not going to use passato prossimo, right? We said that passato prossimo is a verbal tense that is used to talk about the past, so I would never use it to talk about what is happening right now. What would I use then? The present. What is the present? Well, it is what we have studied already before passato prossimo. Remember, all those conjugations that we did were the present tense. So let's complete that. Let's complete these sentences with the correct form of the verb between brackets, but not in passato prossimo, in the present. Right? How do we do that? We follow the rules of conjugation for regular verbs that we learned, right? Get rid of the last 3 letters and then insert the correct ending for the subject. For example, Lisa suonare il sassofono. I need the right form of suonare here, right? Who is the subject? Lisa, right? So I would need the lei form because it's she, right? I get rid of the are, right? And then I insert a because that's the right ending for lei for are verbs. So Lisa suona il sassofono. Lisa plays the saxophone. In the next image to the right, we have the 3 of them dancing. So it's loro, it's they, right? And I need the form of ballare for loro. What do? Get rid of are and insert the ending for loro, which is hanno. Loro ballano. They dance. Next image, Homer dormire, right? Now this is an ire verb, not an are verb. Who is the subject? Homer. So I need the lui form of dormire, right? It's he. the subject here. So I get rid of ire and I insert e. Lui dorme, right? He sleeps, Homer sleeps. In the next one, it says I poliziotti mangiare. I poliziotti means the policemen, right? They're eating. My subject here is they, of course, it's loro. So I need the loro form of mangiare. I get rid of are and I insert ano. I poliziotti mangiano. Before we move on, notice, guys, that in all these conjugations I am using only one word, right? Because that's the way that the present works in Italian, with just one form of the verb, right? You don't need anything else. We already learned this, right? You just get rid of the ending, get rid of the ending of the infinitive and insert the correct ending for the subject. So for example, the next image actually has two parts, right? The sentence has two parts. The first one says Homer guidare la macchina. I hope you remember that guidare means to drive and la macchina means the car. And the subject here is, of course, Homer, right? So it would be lui. We need the lui form. So it's Homer guida. Homer drives the car. And then the second part says loro cantare. So I need the loro form of cantare, because if you look at the image you will see that all of them are singing. They sing, right? So loro cantano. Ano is the correct ending for loro, right? In the next one we again have a group of people, right, doing the action, in this case watching TV. So again it's loro, it's they, the subject. So the correct form of guardare here is guardano, right? Ano is the ending for loro. In the next one, it's again two people, Lisa and Homer. So again, it's loro, right? And I want the form of studiare for loro, it's studiano. In the next one to the right, I only have one person, Bart, right? So the subject is he, lui. I want the lui form of giocare. It's gioca, right? Get rid of are, insert a. Bart gioca baseball. Bart plays baseball. In the next one, again, we have two parts. The first one says Lisa e Bart, right? So the subject here is two people. It's they, right? I want the loro form of suonare, which is suonano. Lisa e Bart suonano. Lisa and Bart play, right? And of course, play in the sense of playing an instrument. Remember that suonare means to play an instrument, right? E Maggie, that's our second part. So here it's only one person being the subject. It's lei, right? So I need the lei form of ballare, which is balla. For the next one, Homer giocare a calcio, I need the lui form of giocare, which we already used before for the one with Bart playing baseball, right? I need Homer gioca a calcio. Homer plays soccer. In the next one, they're dressed as Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, right? What it says there is loro cercare gli indizi. They search for clues, right? Indizi are clues, and cercare is, of course, to search. I need the form of cercare for loro, right? This is another are verb, so I get rid of the are and I insert the ending for loro, ano. Loro cercano gli indizi. They search for clues. And in the next one, I need the lui form because it's Bart who is the subject, right? I need the lui form of pagare, so I get rid of the are, insert the lui ending. Bart paga con la carta di credito di Flanders. Bart paga. Bart pays with Flanders' credit card. Okay. Now, all of these are in the present. So all of these verbal forms mean that these things are happening right now, right? Homer plays soccer right now. Lisa plays the saxophone right now. Lisa and Homer study math right now, right? This is the present. Now let's switch to passato prossimo. As you can see, this slide is quite similar, but the title does not say adesso. It says ieri. Cosa vuol dire ieri, ragazzi? Well, it means yesterday, right? So if these things happened yesterday, I cannot use the present anymore. Now I need to use passato prossimo. So let's look at the first one. Lisa suonare il sassofono. I need the conjugation of suonare here for Lisa, but not in the present, in passato prossimo. So I already have my subject, that is Lisa. So my subject is lei. Now I need two more parts, right? The next part I need is the form of avere for my subject, the form of avere for lei. So this is why it's so important that you review the verb avere, right? Without avere, you cannot do passato prossimo. Okay, what is the form of avere for Lisa? It's a, right? H-A-A. And then I also need the past participle of suonare. Get rid of are, insert ato. I need those two elements plus my subject. So Lisa ha suonato. Okay? If you only answer suonato, that does not mean anything. That is not a correct conjugation of the verb. You need the auxiliary. You need avere here. Lisa ha suonato il sassofono. That means Lisa played the saxophone. It can be confusing in the sense that in English you only need one word here. So many of you might feel the temptation to just do the past participle and leave it at that. But that would not mean anything in Italian, okay? For it to actually mean the past, you need to use both elements. You need to use the verb avere and then the past participle. For example, in the next one, I want to say they danced, right? I want to conjugate ballare in the passato prossimo for the subject loro, because they are the subject, right? So what is the correct form of avere for loro? It's hanno. And then what is the past participle of ballare? Get rid of are, insert ato. So loro hanno ballato. Again, two elements. The first one is the form of avere for loro. The second one is the past participle of ballare. Okay? Third example, Homer dormire. Okay? Again, two elements. Homer is our subject, so I need the lui form of avere, which is a. And then what is the past participle of dormire? Here I insert ito after I get rid of the ending because this is an ire verb. So Homer ha dormito. Homer slept. In the next one, I poliziotti mangiare. My subject is the policemen, so I need the loro form. They are the subject, right? So the loro form of avere is hanno. And then the past participle of mangiare, I get rid of the are, insert atto. So hanno mangiato. I poliziotti hanno mangiato. The policemen ate. Next one, two parts, right? First we have Homer drove the car, right? I need the past of guidare for the subject lei. So for the subject lui, sorry, of course, lui, he is a man. So what is the correct form of avere here is it's a, right? And what is the past participle? Guidato. So Homer ha guidato la macchina. Homer drove the car. And then in the second part, my subject is loro. It's no longer lui, now it's loro. So I need the form of avere here, hanno, and then the past participle, cantato. Loro hanno cantato. Next one, loro guardare la televisione in passato prossimo. Remember, in this whole slide, we're talking about the past. So we're always using passato prossimo. I need the form of avere for loro, which is hanno, and then the past participle of guardare, which is guardato. Loro hanno guardato la televisione. They watched TV. In the next one, Lisa and Homer studiare la matematica. Again, I need hanno, because loro is my subject, right? It's Lisa and Homer, it's they. And then the past participle of studiare is studiato, so loro hanno studiato. Lisa e Homer hanno studiato la matematica. Lisa and Homer studied math. The next one, Bart giocare a baseball. My subject is lui, right? It's he. So my form of avere is ha, and my past participle for giocare is giocato. Lui ha giocato. Bart ha giocato a baseball. Bart played baseball. The next one, again, has two parts, right? In the first one, our subject is Lisa e Bart, right? It's two people, it's they. So I need the loro form of avere, which is hanno. And then I also need the past participle of suonare. Get rid of are, insert atto. Loro hanno suonato. They played. And in the second part of the sentence, Maggie ballare, my subject is Maggie, so it's lei. The form of avere for lei is a, and then the past participle of ballare is ballato. Maggie ha ballato. Maggie danced. For the next one, Homer giocare a calcio, right? I want to say Homer played soccer, so I want to use passato prossimo. Two elements, avere and then the past participle, right? My form of avere here, the one I need is the lui form because it's Homer that is the subject, so it's a. And then the past participle of giocare, get rid of are, insert atto. Homer ha giocato a calcio. Homer played soccer. In the next one, loro cercare gli indizi. I need again two elements. I need the form of avere for loro, because that's my subject. And then I also need the past participle of cercare. So loro hanno cercato. They searched for clues. And in the last one, my subject is Bart, so I need the lui form of avere, which is a. And then the past participle of pagare, get rid of are, insert atto. Bart ha pagato con la carta di credito di Flanders. Bart paid with Flanders' credit card. Okay? So, probably the most important concept of this review of passato prossimo is that when you conjugate in this tense in Italian, you always need to have two elements, not just one, right? First, you need the correct form of avere, and then you need the past participle. Okay? Lastly, just as an observation for a later video, there are exceptions. There are verbs that do not use avere in Italian as their auxiliary verb for passato prossimo. Instead of avere, they use essere. But that is a more advanced subject that we will cover later. For now, always remember that when I ask you to conjugate a verb in passato prossimo, you need avere, and then you also need the past participle. Ciao ragazzi, a dopo.